Today we're going to work on blasting techniques.
Alright, so many of you guys have heard tales of the fabled flying fingers technique. Well, today we are going to talk about the one and only flying fingers technique for blast beats. This is actually one of the most difficult things to learn because it involves a whole lot of speed and accuracy out of one hand versus two. The reason that this is really important, and a lot of people ask this, why do you really need to do one hand instead of two, is because you're trying to free up another hand to do other things, like mess with the cymbals or the hi-hat or whatever, and so you're basically doing work for two hands with one hand. A lot of people that actually start with blasting tend to try to get the hit out of their full arm, like that, which can't be done. I wish it could, because then we wouldn't have to sit and study these things, and believe me, I tried for a long time to do it that way, or with the wrists, like waggling your wrists, and that doesn't work either. The best way to execute these quick hits with your sticks on one hand is to use your fingers, and you grip the stick basically the very same way that you would normally, and the motion is not going to take place with your wrists like it normally does on the drum set. It's going to take place with these fingers. I use the index finger and the thumb to grip the stick at the fulcrum, and I've showed you before how to find the fulcrum, and then I use the middle finger and the ring finger to do pressure right here, like this. The pinky just kind of hangs there. It really doesn't do anything. It may add a little bit of pressure, but most of the pressure is and force application is from these two fingers. And if you look from the back side here, I'm going to try and show it to you. Yeah, there you go. You can see it. I'm gripping here, and this is where the stick is going to pivot, and I use these two fingers to push the stick like this. And of course, my upward force on the stick is going to push the force down. Alright, now you can practice this in the air, and that's probably a really safe way to do that. And then when you get it on your snare, you're going to notice it's a lot easier because you have a lot of rebound from your snare. It's going to bounce it right back into those fingers like this. I always talk to my friends about the beautiful fan shape of blasting. If you see a good blast beat going on, you've always got that fan shape. Right here, the stick has just got this one beautiful fan from this one area that's not even moving. I'm not moving my hands, I'm not moving my arms at all. Look. The best way to practice for this is at slow speed, just like I've said before, but your right and left hand do the same thing. Use these two fingers to press the sticks forward, and use the snare to bounce the stick back at you. Now, a lot of you are going to run into several different problems that I ran into. The first problem that you're going to run into is that the stick is just going to want to wobble all over the place, because you're not used to the kind of control needed to keep it flat. That's a ridiculous and terrible thing. I've dealt with it for a good long time, and all I can tell you is there's no real way to fix that other than just continued practice. Your hands will eventually learn how to support it, kind of like your toes support your body. Eventually your fingers are going to learn how to compensate for the stick wobbling all over the place. So all I can say is, I'm sorry guys, I know it sucks, but just keep practicing for a good long time. I used to practice with knives in the kitchen whenever I was at work, just trying to keep things steady while I was blasting like this. The next problem you're going to work with is the stick trying to move forward in your hand or move up in your hand like that. All I can tell you is just try to keep a relatively good grip on it right here between your thumb and index finger, but not too tight. And when you're blasting, it's actually going to move from your index finger to about that crease right there, and you're going to wrap around it like that. The only other information I can really give you on this flying fingers technique is I prefer to play with the back of my hand facing upward. Although some people do the French grip version, and that's this. The only thing I can tell you is that I know a lot of people that have dealt with carpal tunnel because they play with the French grip, which means the thumb is facing up versus the hand facing up. I've been playing for quite some time now, working with these blasts, and I haven't had any trouble with the back of my hands facing up. And I know that I keep the flats of my hands facing up so that I've got that pivot going on, and it's a lot easier on your wrist than going like this. I had a guy tell me one time that if you're working with the flying fingers and you are playing in the air, a good way to tell that you're doing it right is to hear that sound coming from the palms. That's how you know that you've got a decently strong wrist going and you're able to keep it going in the air. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope this flying finger technique video helped you guys out. I know it's a very difficult thing and a very frustrating thing at times, so hang in there and don't give up. A lot of practice and a lot of time goes into this, but once you've got it, it feels great. It's like the best thing in the world. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next video.